This Russian city wasn't bombed into hell. It was turned into hell by decisions, reactions, and mistakes made in a single night. By sunrise, the damage wasn't counted in buildings destroyed. It was counted in systems broken, industries paralyzed, and $18 billion erased from existence. And the most terrifying part? Everything that happened was completely avoidable. For years, this city was considered untouchable. Not because it was hidden, but because it was protected. Layered air defenses surrounded it. Long-range radar systems scanned hundreds of kilometers of sky. Electronic warfare units monitored every signal, every frequency. This wasn't a frontline city. It was an economic and logistical backbone. Factories, fuel storage, transport hubs, data centers. Billions of dollars flowed through it every year. And that's exactly why it became the target. The night started quietly. No alarms. No warnings. No panic. Operators reported normal conditions. The sky looked clean. Then the first contacts appeared. Small. Slow. Low altitude. Drones. Not fast enough to be missiles. Not large enough to be bombers. Cheap drones. The kind that shouldn't matter. But in modern warfare, ignoring a threat is more dangerous than overreacting to one. So the city's air defense network came alive. Radar systems powered up to full output. Tracking modes switched from passive to active. Missile batteries locked on. The first intercept was clean. A missile launched. A drone vanished in the sky. On paper, that was a win. Then another drone appeared. And another. Different directions. Different altitudes. Not a swarm. A pattern. Missiles kept firing. Each launch cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some crossed the $1 million mark. But the drones were cheap. Disposable. Designed to be lost. And that was the point. Within minutes, the city's defense network was fully engaged. Radars were emitting at maximum power. Electronic warfare units flooded the airwaves. Operators were locked into constant decision-making. Fire or don't fire. Track or switch targets. Reload or wait. Pressure built fast. The drones weren't trying to hit anything important. They were trying to force reactions. And the city reacted exactly as expected. Missile stocks dropped faster than planned. Reload cycles slowed response time. Radar operators stayed glued to screens without rest. The system wasn't failing. It was being drained. Then, suddenly, the drones stopped. No new contacts. No movement. The sky went silent. To exhausted operators, it felt like relief. To commanders, it looked like success. The threat had been neutralized. But that silence wasn't peace. It was timing. Because while the city celebrated stopping the attack, something else was already moving. This time, the drones were different. Faster. Lower. Smarter. They didn't announce themselves. They didn't linger. They followed gaps created minutes earlier, gaps caused by empty launchers, delayed reloads, and overloaded radar coverage. Air defense systems tried to respond. But systems can't react instantly after exhaustion. The first impact hit an energy substation. Power dropped across multiple districts. Streetlights died. Factories shut down mid-process. Data centers switched to emergency power. Then the second strike hit a logistics hub. Fuel storage ignited. Fire spread through connected infrastructure. Transport vehicles were destroyed before they could move. Rail lines were damaged. Supply routes collapsed. Communications failed next. Command centers lost coordination. Emergency services struggled to respond. Confusion spread faster than information. This wasn't chaos caused by destruction. It was chaos caused by disruption. The city still stood. But it didn't function. More strikes followed. Industrial zones. Storage depots. Key junctions. Not flattened. Crippled. Precision mattered more than power. By the time defenses stabilized, the damage was irreversible. Factories worth billions were offline. Energy infrastructure required months to repair. Logistics networks were shattered. Production stopped instantly. Exports halted. Contracts collapsed. Investors pulled out. By morning, analysts began calculating the loss. Direct infrastructure damage. Lost production. Interrupted supply chains. Emergency response costs. Long-term economic impact. The number kept rising. $18 billion. Gone in one night. Not burned. Not stolen. Neutralized. And the city wasn't destroyed because it lacked defenses. It was destroyed because those defenses were used against it. Military analysts reviewing the operation reached the same conclusion. This wasn't a technological failure. Every system worked exactly as designed. That was the problem. The attack was built around predictability. Cheap threats forced expensive responses. Minor risks triggered maximum reactions. Pressure caused mistakes. The city didn't lose because it was weak. It lost because it reacted. This night sent shockwaves far beyond that city. Because it proved something terrifying. Modern cities don't need to be invaded to collapse. They just need their systems interrupted. You don't need to destroy everything. You just need to break the connections. Electricity. Logistics. Communication. Confidence. Once those go, collapse follows. The psychological impact was immediate. Residents woke up to darkness, smoke, and uncertainty. Businesses didn't know when operations would resume. Authorities couldn't give answers. Trust vanished overnight. Not just in defenses, but in safety itself. Because if a city this protected could be pushed into chaos so quickly, no place felt secure anymore. That's why this wasn't just a loss. It was a warning. A blueprint. This is how modern warfare works now. Not with massive invasions. Not with endless bombing. But with pressure. Timing. And forcing the enemy to make costly decisions. $18 billion didn't disappear because of one massive explosion. It disappeared because of hundreds of small reactions made under stress. And that's what makes this kind of war so dangerous. Because it doesn't look dramatic at first. By the time it does, it's already too late. If you want more real, brutal breakdowns of how modern wars actually destroy cities. Not with myths, but with strategy. Subscribe. Because the next city won't fall because it's weak. It will fall because it reacts the same way.